A lot of freelance designers have rejected the concept that the customer is always right. Instead, there is an attitude of, we know best, the client doesn't know what they're talking about when they ask for revisions, we need to stand firm on our designs. And in some ways that's true, but I don't agree completely. The truth is, both you, the designer, and the client are both right. So how do you make your client happy when they ask for bad design edits while still maintaining your position as the design expert? Let's dig into this. I'm Alyssa Downey. I am a self-employed brand and web designer, and I help other ambitious self-employed designers nail their processes, wow their clients, and grow their businesses with confidence. And in this video, we're talking about who's right when it comes to design edits, the client or you, the designer. Is the customer always right, or is that out the window? Here's the thing. The client hired you for your design expertise. You are the design expert and they are not. But the client is the expert in their own business. Just like you eat, sleep, breathe design every day, the client eats, sleeps, breathes their own business and their own industry. So in your mind, you're always right. But in their mind, they're always right. But when it comes to revision requests to your design projects, before deciding whether or not you should stand firm on your design or just give in and make the edit, you need to understand why they are asking for that edit. As I explained in a previous video about what to do when your client asks for bad edits, sometimes they are asking for a change not because they specifically want that change, but because something in the design isn't resonating with them and they're trying to problem solve. And their non-designer brain lands on an idea that makes you cringe. They think that they're being helpful and helping you figure out how to fix the design, but really they just need to tell you what feels off and let you fix the design. For example, the client might say, I don't like this font, can we try it with a font that looks like this? And they send you the exact font that they want to use. And you're like, oh my gosh, that will not look good. It doesn't match the design. It's not conducive to the vibe we're going for in the design. But it's possible that the client doesn't really want that font. They just don't like the font that you used. So you need to ask, why are you drawn to this font? What feels off about the current font? That way, you might end up finding out that they just think the current font is too bold. They just want to tone it down a little, that's all. Then you regain leadership and you get to adjust the design appropriately so that it still looks good and the client is happy. And then you both win, you're both right. Even still, sometimes when it comes to design edits, we might still have a client that is really adamant about a change or a specific design adjustment that we just aren't crazy about. And no matter what we do to try to get them to come on board with our recommendations, it's not working. When that happens, we have to know when to compromise and how to compromise. If that client is dead set on using that specific font, how can you still make the design look good within that constraint? Because remember, you are the design expert. It is your job to be creative within the instructions that you're sometimes given. So how can you make the most of this instruction? How can you both be happy? When I was in design school, I had so many project assignments that had extreme restrictions. One that comes to mind in particular was an assignment in my typography class. We had to design a set of book covers using only black and white, no imagery, and only one font, and we had to choose between two fonts that were given to us by our professor. I remember being so annoyed at this assignment because I felt like I couldn't be creative, and I just kept thinking I would never have to do something like this in the real world for a real client. I would never have this type of restriction. But in fact, it happens all the time. And in retrospect, that assignment and others like it were so valuable because I learned how to make a great, striking, effective design within the confines of restrictive instructions. And that is what we have to do sometimes. You are the design expert. You were hired to make their design work for their business and look good. So do that. Personally, I have had quite a few branding projects that I had to compromise on, but I have never had a project that I wasn't proud to put in my portfolio. And lastly, it's important to keep in mind that at the end of the day, you're designing something for the client's business, not yours. Yes, you are the design expert, but they are the expert in their business and they own their business and they're paying you for something for their business. If you get your way with the design and you're happy with the results and you have a really awesome portfolio piece, but the client doesn't love the design and they don't feel excited to use it, and in fact, they decide to hire a different designer to redesign it later, is that really a successful project or relationship? Is that really how you want to run your design business? So all in all, navigating design edits, especially those that feel like bad edits, can be challenging, but not impossible. You have to understand where the client is coming from and know when and how to compromise in order to make both you and the client happy in the end. If you want to learn more about working better with your clients, strengthening your design process, and avoiding difficult situations in your freelance design business, please sign up for my free 5-day email series, Freelance Essentials, at the link in the description below. You'll get 1 email a day for 5 days about how to build a more sustainable and fulfilling design business. And please hit subscribe so you can get notified of future videos about how to work better with your design clients. If you have any questions about navigating client feedback and the branding design process, feel free to drop them in a comment below.